He's done the lot.
I think his favorite is Trans Am, though.
Yep.
I would have to say after listening to him talk yesterday.
So to give it its full title, it's the Monster Energy SRI Performance Weaver Concepts Dodge Challenger. That's what he is racing this weekend. And getting Monster Energy involved, great thing for Boris. They come out of the last complex now, past our commentary position. All being led by Paul Fix. And it was interesting in qualifying, Loshak only did 3 laps, and I was surprised that he didn't go out again. He settled for 3rd place, but it might be a smart move after all.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he went out. He knows his car is fast. 3 laps. He's saving tires. I think that'll benefit him at the end of this race for sure.
So they will split them up, and we are watching Paul Fix leading the TA class. Boris said alongside him. Then Loshak, who won last time out at Pittsburgh. They come round the keyhole, the famous keyhole. Got to get the drive out of there to get onto this long back straight, because there isn't many straights here. They get up to speed now, and this is where Boris, if he's going to make his move, will try to do it right from the get-go. It's a 100-mile race. A long way to go. There's the green flag. We're racing here at Mid-Ohio for Trans Am TA. Good start from Sen, but into the first corner goes Paul Fix. Nicely done. Loshak is in there. Bernie Francis Jr. got away well. He's up to 4th already. Good, clean start. Whoa, and there's damage. There as Chris Dyson comes together with Boris Sen. And Boris, well, he's a mild-mannered man, but don't get him riled.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's not... Whoa.
Oh, and that's
Dyson.
played no help to Chris Dyson. And hate to say it, but that could ruin Chris Dyson's whole championship here. I said he needed a victory today to stay with Ernie Francis Jr. And Francis Jr. now up to 2nd place.
Yeah, I didn't think he hit Boris that hard. I wonder how bad Boris's car is. But yeah, that's not good for the first lap for Chris Dyson.
So a dramatic start here at Mid-Ohio. And besides Chris Dyson, everybody else, it seems okay. We'll be wondering to see how badly affected that car of Boris said is. He's just there in, what, 6th place at the moment as Paul Fix dives into the keyhole. Heavy braking. There's Sen. There's Amy Ruman trying to jostle for position, but Paul Fix building on that lead. Francis Jr. in 2nd place. Good start by the champion, Francis Jr. and the championship leader. Well, there's the tail of the tape, so to speak. One wheel.
You know, I'm not so sure. Maybe he broke something and then ran into Boris, because that's kind of a weird way for that wheel to be sheared off.
Maybe the wheel was either not tight or he had a suspension failure, and that's what pushed him into Boris. Because, like you say, you wouldn't make a move like that.
Especially not. I mean, those are 2 veteran drivers.
Chris Dyson is not the kind of guy that would ruin his race knowing there's 100 miles to go. So, drama indeed. Well, interesting start to this one, and TA4 is underway. Warren Dexter is the man to watch in this one, in the Ginetta. He is leading the championship at the moment after a win at Pittsburgh. The Ginetta's, in fact, leading TA3 and TA4 at the moment. Alini Cipriani, we'll get a glimpse of her, I'm sure, and she's got a big task on her hands this weekend. Mark Bowden back into racing as Paul Fix crosses the line again with Ernie Francis Jr. Loshak still 3rd. Ruman is in 8th position. Jordan Butt down in 12th. And as you can see, Dyson is off.
It looks like we're going full course.
Full course caution. And now, this is great because I've got a man who's done this job alongside me. Jake, you've done the pace car. It always seems precarious, like that car leading them all around isn't fast enough to hold these guys back. Here's another look at it. Yeah. He was locked up before he went even to turn in.
Yeah, I see another look at it.
Well, now you'll see the wheel come off. Yeah, look at that. Whoa. Gosh, nasty. Very rare.
And he could have hit just the right spot to shear the bolt off of the car. That's just weird.
I feel for Chris. He's really worked hard this year, and Plaid, his sponsor, have done a really good job of backing him. He feels that the championship should be, if it all goes according to plan, between himself and Ernie Francis Jr. It's just not panning out that way. And now, Loshak is coming very much into the picture now. He's in this race. He's third in the championship. Dyson is out. I know if I were Lawrence Loshak, I'd be going past that crash going, okay, I'm in a good position here, folks. Let's see what I can do. His tail was so high after Pittsburgh. It was a really, really dominant display all weekend by Lawrence Loshak. But to be fair to him, he's had a first half of the season where he could be leading the championship right now. He's just had mechanicals. He was leading at Indy, and he had a clutch issue. You know, things just have gone wrong for him.
Right, and rode Atlanta during qualifying that wreck too. So for him to be bouncing back and that team to be bouncing back like they are, it shows a lot of grit for them. They want this championship.
You're watching the 2018 Trans Am Championship presented by Pirelli. And this is the first Energy Mid-Ohio race. And there is a rather disconsolate Chris Dyson. It's a horrible feeling for a racing driver. The adrenaline's pouring through you. You've spent 4 days of preparation, and now all you can do is sit in the stands and watch.
Yeah, it's when you wreck out of a race as a driver, especially this early, and to sit there and watch and just, you know, there's a feeling of helplessness, right? Especially when you're going for a championship, you're like, it's almost better not to watch.
Yeah, I can get the feeling. What about Paul Fix today? We haven't spoken too much about him because, like I said, it's been about Dyson and obviously sort of celebrity entries like this man, Boris said. But what about Paul Fix for a win today?
He's a veteran of this series. He knows how to get the job done, past champion. And I think as long as he stays out in front and stays out of trouble, he should be good. A little bit of damage there on Boris.
Just say, how bad is the damage to the right-hand side of Boris Said's car? It looks peripheral. He doesn't need that mirror. He's got a bit of damage to the side pod, maybe to the exhaust pipe, but not much else. I don't think the wheels are out of line or anything.
Yeah, and for Dyson's wheel to come off, it doesn't look like on the side of Boris's car there was anything that could, you know, shear the wheel, or it might have been a perfect storm. Some of these cars, some of these TA cars do have jack posts that stick out of the side of the car instead of under the car. So he might have hit that with the lug nut and might have sheared that off. Just hard to say.
So the race continues here under caution. As you can see, the yellow flag's waving. Dexter leading TA4. Good battle in TA3. And it's Paul Fix who leads the TA class. Well, I hope they're not pointing at that dumpster to take Chris's car to. But no, they'll get that back to the pits and they'll get it right for 2 weeks' time, I'm sure. Restart. I would be a little bit worried if I were Paul Fix because we know how good Ernie Francis Jr. Now, also Loshak. I wonder if Loshak's thinking to himself, I got to get past Ernie here. He's got Pintarek behind him.
I don't think so. We're lap 4 of 45. You know, like we mentioned, Loshak has only, 3 qualifying laps on those tires. I think he's going to wait for those 2 front guys to burn them off.
Well, let's talk about that, because that was something that was almost in Loshak's mind when he kind of came into the pits yesterday and sat and waited, because he knows that if he's got good tires, but come the end of this race, I mean, he doesn't want too many of these cautions because you're not really burning up rubber at this point, but eventually he may well be in a good position to have a last 10-minute sprint.
Yeah, and especially if he stays with them and let Ernie Francis and Paul Fix fight it out, they'll just start reeling back into him.
So you've seen a bit of a damage before. That wheel is just sheared off.
Yeah, it almost looks like maybe the spokes of that wheel got into a jack post or something on the side of the car, and that's what did it. Or it could have, I don't see the exhaust on the side of Boris's car doing that, but that's just a very strange way to damage the wheel.
Now, we've mentioned Loshak. One man we should mention is Tommy Dreese from Los Angeles. He's just wrapped up the West Coast Championship, and he is here again this weekend, currently running in 9th before the restart. Just got a glimpse of him, but Tommy, lap record holder here at Mid-Ohio. Didn't beat that yesterday, I may add, but he's got his tail up.
Yeah, he definitely knows how to get around this place. He's always fast here. A little bit of trouble in qualifying for him, but I think I think he'll pull out a podium today. I really I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, okay, there's your prediction. Dyson is out, as you can see, the number 20 plaid Ford Mustang, sadly, on its way home. And a rather interesting crash. It involved Boris Said, who is coming in for his second Trans Am run. I'm just wondering if Boris might just come and make it a full-time gig. I think he enjoys Trans Am.
He really does. I think as long as Weaver has him, he'll keep driving it. So I know he's kicking around Daytona and COTA coming back. So hopefully we'll see him there.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be great. We've even got the mighty Bill Elliott, a Hall of Famer, coming up in TA, and it just shows you the appeal of Trans Am. There's just something pure about it. There's something historical about it. It's, what, 52 years in its history. It's certainly now getting the numbers. We've got something like 46 cars here this weekend, 4 different categories, some great youngsters. We've got some of the Xfinity guys. We're going to go green after this. Here we go. Paul Fix leads them away. Good start from Loshak as they dive towards the first corner. Loshak all over Ernie Francis Jr. as they dive into turn 1, but Ernie holds on the inside line there. Paul Fix is away too. Oh, and a big crash by the number 59. That was a big off. And he has parked it. What happened there, I wonder?
Yeah,
I wonder if he got a touch there, I wonder.
Flying off right in turn 1.
Yeah, not what you planned. That, of course, Simon Gregg, who, of course, has been a factor in this championship, too. Down the back straight, then. Paul Fix leads them away. Loshak stays third. So, the number 59, and it could well bring out safety again. And look at Francis now already putting the hammer down and putting pressure on Paul Fix here as they go through the S's and down the hill one more time. Over the crest. And Francis making good time on Fix here at the restart. They come down Thunder Valley and down towards the carousel. And this is the battle for the lead. Ah, well, amazingly, Simon Gregg has got it going again.
Yeah, as long as he sits tight there for these leaders to go by, yeah.
So out of the last corner, two-way race. Loshak losing time on them. Petarik in the 57 is in 4th place. They dive into turn 1, 4th gear through there. Very fast indeed. And good move by Simon Gregg. He's out of harm's way as they come into the keyhole.
Although Simon better giddy up here because he doesn't want to cause any trouble for these guys coming down in the turn after the straightaway.
Moment onto the dirt for a moment for Ernie Francis Jr. He's got a busy weekend here, and what is Simon thinking here? I don't know. He's doing the smart move here. He's getting out of the way. No, he's trying to...
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Well, he's giving Amethyst plenty of time going around the boards there, giving us a full view of the sponsor of the overall event, and who have just become title sponsors in Formula 3 and Formula 4 here in the USA. So, down to the back part of this beautiful Mid-Ohio circuit. It's a great place, this, through the S's and then down up to the top of the hill and into Thunder Valley.
Looks like Paul Fix is a little bit better than Ernie through the S's there. But then Ernie, you know, coming into turn 1 just gains so much.
Well, Paul Fix's last lap at 124.0. Ernie Francis almost identical, 124.1. So they're keeping the same pace. And I think if, and Boris Said, under pressure now from Tommy Dreesy, the man you predicted to potentially take that GoShare car onto a podium. Boris under pressure now, Amy Ruman just behind him. And this is the battle for 5th place. But yeah, no difference to the times. And watching Ernie Francis Jr., he did this with Dyson at Pittsburgh. He just waited and played the waiting game for the entire 100 miles. That's how long this race is. And it's about 65 minutes in all. So plenty of time yet, and probably more cautions to come. We're looking back at the battle in TA4. In comes Simon Gregg into the pits after that off.
Good little battle between the Ginetta and the BMW there. That BMW Marco Radicic.
Yes.
He's a newcomer this weekend from Pirelli World Challenge, and in his M4.
Yeah, you spoke to him this morning. Why have they come from Pirelli Challenge into Trans Am like this?
They just really just love the series. They love how flexible. They love the atmosphere and the competition. And they said to have a car that can do both, it really frees up their flexibility. They can go to any track and run Trans Am or Pirelli World Challenge. So it's kind of a cool little mix they've got.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to the TA4 leader. You saw him in the number 61 Ginetta there. That's Warren Dexter, just 21 years of age. Here comes Dreesy on Boris Said. Two of the great veterans of racing here in the USA. Dreesy known for his Trans Am skills, and Boris Said, well, he's done everything. And not as quick as your mum, I hear. According to Boris.
Yeah, according to Boris and my mom raced way back in the Corvette Challenge at Portland.
I bet that was a few years ago. Here comes Warren Dexter then on the BMW. Now, they are different classes, mind you, but Warren proved last time out that he doesn't care who he's racing against. He just wants to put quick laps in. Look at that. Nicely done.
Yeah, that's a bold move in the keyhole there.
And just ahead is Mark Bowden, of course, who was the previous leader of TA3. That honor at the moment is with Eleni Cipriani, although I haven't seen her on track as of yet. She was due to start on the front row, but she had some contact, and it was deemed to be unavoidable, or avoidable, excuse me, and they penalized her to fourth on the grid in TA3. So, drama indeed for the championship leader. Mark Bowden just trying to get back into the championship hunt. And Loshak just waiting in third place. Starting to spread out there. There's David Vintarek. And this battle is really good here between the number 8, the blue and white of Tommy Dreesy, and the Monster Energy sponsored Camaro of Boris Said. He's got half a mirror on one side. I don't think that there's real damage to that car, though, do you?
No, I think he's perfectly fine. Mostly cosmetic, so I think he's pretty good. And I'm looking at the times for the top 3. Those guys are all, within a 10th. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that turns out. Boris is way better through the S's there.
Back to the leaders, and Ernie Francis Jr. Will he, won't he? I think for now, he's just happy to stay behind Paul Fix and let him do the work.
Or force his mistake.
Correct.
So we've seen that before. And that's hard as a driver when you're leading a race and you've got someone that close to you on your tail. It's hard not to look in the mirror. So you got to train yourself not to, because as soon as you start making mistakes, that's all Ernie's waiting for is one little slip up.
Last time out, Ernie Francis Jr. was just a smidgen quicker than the man in front of him, the Stop Fix Paul Fix car. And as you can see, the gap 0.5, but you don't really need any illustration of that. You can see it for yourself. There's nothing between them. And as you say, it's always harder to drive under pressure like this. It's hard enough mid-Ohio. You're keeping busy throughout the lap, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think Ernie's just getting into his groove, and he's just going to wait. We've seen him do it before, like I said. So as long as he stays with Paul Fix, maybe he's just trying to tire him out.
So 4 left and 9 right turns, running clockwise. And as we've mentioned before, these Pirelli tires, they last a long time, but when you put all this power through them, there comes a point where they have to give, and after 100 miles, you might just start to see a little bit of attrition. And certainly that's something that Loshak, currently in third, is hoping for towards the end of this race. Stephen Davison just going past our commentary position, racing in TA4. And the leader's about to catch him. And they'll want to get him on the back straight here at Mid-Ohio. You don't want to, I was talking to some of the drivers last night, the one place you don't want to get stuck behind anybody is going into turn 4, because really, There's not a lot of places to overtake between 4 and 9.
It's like Dreesy's getting a little bit closer.
Yeah, he's gonna try out there.
I think, you know, Dreesy keeps trying to get under Boris in the keyhole, and Boris has the preferred line, and so he always gets off the keyhole better than Dreesy, and then Dreesy's having to catch all the way back up throughout the rest of the track.
And the obvious overtake is coming into turn 4 here.
Right.
Turn 3 is a king, but really you want to be up the inside here, block pass, but he's not close enough, as you can see. And then, as you can see now, we go up the hill, down Dale. There really isn't a lot of places to overtake here, but look how close Tommy gets here.
Yeah, and that turn, that keyhole turn is so important, and hopefully maybe Tommy can find another way to get around Boris, but Boris is making that car pretty wide.
Yep. So we're keeping an eye on the other battles as well. We've got 3 distinct battles here. Here's our first look at Alini Cipriani. So in TA, it's Paul Fix and Ernie Francis Jr., Loshak in 3rd, then Pintarik, Boris Said and Dreesy. Height in 7th place, Bochum, McManus and Jordan Butt rounding out the top 10. Ruman's got off, it looks like, and likewise Chris Dyson went off right at the start with that sheared wheel, and I agree with you. I think he must have sheared it on the side of Boris's car because it was a perfect cut almost, and the wheel just flew off. TA3, here we are. Herb, Radisik, Cipriani in 5th place ahead of Rishi and Grant. And then in TA4, Napier Lasky is leading in TA4, and that's good news for him. Didn't race in Pittsburgh. And there's Mark Bowden, just ahead of Warren Dexter. And look at the Ginetta coming alongside the Porsche on the outside. He likes his outside moves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Nicely done. Well, that's what they've been saying about the Ginetta. It's nimble, it's light, it's great. It's really late on the brakes, and they're really proud of that fact. And I know it's not the obvious car for Trans Am, a British mark, but it's making a name for itself.
Yeah, it seems to work because I believe that's a TA4 Ginetta that just passed a TA3 Porsche, so it's pretty dang fast.
Yeah, I was asking the difference between the two cars that are out there, the two Ginettas, because one is in TA3, one is in TA4. This is the TA4 version from the Nebraska-born Warren Dexter. Quite an athlete. He's a state champion in cross-country, I'll have you know.
Yeah, the Ginetta just can't, that top speed of the Porsche, but got to give him credit. He's making that outside line work.
I got to say, he's taking the long way around, but it's working for him. I wonder if he can get past the BMW as well.
Yeah, Camaro just got a little loose.
Oh, sorry,
there,
that's the Camaro, yeah. The all-black number 39 is who he's just got past. And that would be the leader of TA4. That would be Todd Napier-Lasky. And so that puts Dexter into the lead in TA4. Boris Said, still in his battle with Tommy Dreesy, and he's putting the pressure on, is the West Coast champion. And now Ernie Francis Jr. tucked up behind the back of the race leader. Loshak under pressure too. And they're starting to get into traffic now, and I don't know, as a driver, where would you choose? Would you choose this time with the traffic to maybe make an attempt at an overtake, or would you stay behind, continue the same sort of forcing a mistake?
It all depends on the situation. Sometimes, you know, the guy in front of you is not going to expect you to do it, and you can get away with it. Sometimes it's better just to follow him. So it depends how much traffic and your timing, but it is always fun as a driver to catch someone off guard during traffic and grab that position.
Here's our first proper look at Lawrence Loshak. Really pleased with his team. They had such heartache in the first half. Oh! Oh no, I thought that was a little too close for comfort, and off goes the 71, but he was punted by Paul Fix, and I wonder if the stewards will have a look at that, because the number 71, all right, in a different category, but Dave Ricci was doing nothing wrong, and he got punted. You can see the front of Paul Fix's car.
Yeah, sometimes a slower car might anticipate and try to get out of the way of the TA cars. And if the TA car, if Paul Fix has already picked his line and that Camaro comes over, the closing rate is just too fast. But that's definitely something they'll probably look at.
Yeah, and I think if he'd have braked heavily, Ernie would have gone through. So drama again at the start of this race. Loshak has caught the two of them as well. And we have a race on, folks. Big time. And again, Francis using all the road and more. Staying in second place. Loshak just 1.7 seconds behind. Pitarik, Said, Dreesy, Height, Bochum, McManus, and Jordan Butt in 10th position. Greg is 11th, but he's already been off. Sadly, Ruman is out. Amy Ruman, who hasn't had a good weekend all weekend, is out of this one. And in TA4, it is Dexter. Naparilaski in second place, Davison third.
I think Loshak is loving this right now. Yeah. Ernie's getting a little more aggressive, and his times are starting to reflect it. Lawrence Loshak ran a 122, and Ernie Francis ran a 123. So he's definitely catching up.
Wow, look at the pressure he's putting on him now as they come across the straight and into turn one here at Mid-Ohio. TA racing at its finest, 1, 2, and 3. And you can throw a blanket over them at the moment as they head down towards the keyhole. Great racing. Loshak has got the hurry up, and he wants a bit of the action. It's a three-way battle for the lead with a damaged car at the front with Paul Fix. Good battles throughout, though. TA3 and TA4. We just saw Warren Dexter take the lead nimbly in the Ginetta around the outside of his opponent in the Chevrolet Camaro. And this battle between Dreesy and Said continues for 4th and 5th place. And now coming into some traffic. And Boris doing brilliant, using the traffic to his advantage, just sneaking through and giving himself a little bit of breathing space, but not much. Look at Loshak now. Well, he said he'd save his tyres. Has he waited long enough, I wonder?
With the way the top two are running each other, yeah, I think he waited long enough.
Do you think that damage to Paul Fix's car at the front has done anything? He doesn't seem to be slowing him.
You know, it's hard to say. It does look like that Ernie caught him a little faster, and it might be hurting that arrow at the end of the straightaway for sure. Okay. That's a pretty big dent in the front.
Onto the straight they come again, and Ernie Francis looking to the inside at turn one, possibly. And there's debris and dirt down there from somebody going off earlier, and they've got to be careful. Tough corner, that's first corner, because it's really fast. Aline Cipriani in TA3, they're into the keyhole, they've all got past her. Powering out of turn two is the key to Mid-Ohio, getting good drive out of there. Francis Jr. has been brilliant so far. And nothing between these three as they go through the kink that is turn three. And a spinner! Dreesy's off! Tommy Dreesy spins it off at Mid-Ohio after a brilliant battle with Boris Said. He's got the engine running, and he should spin it round and get going, but that battle is over.
And Tommy was running pretty hard. Ooh.
Wow, well, yeah. Boris had nothing to do with that.
I think he went in there too hard, and it just locked up.
And good avoiding action by Mark Bowden, but back to the leaders. They've got a long way to go yet. And look at this race. I think it was the last lap. Excellent start. You're watching the Trans Am Championship presented by Pirelli from Mid-Ohio. Jonathan Green and Jake Dallenbach bringing you the action from Mid-Ohio. And we've got a TA2 race coming up, and it will involve Ernie Francis Jr., who's second at the moment and leading the championship in TA as it stands. But Loshak, the man behind him, is the man of the moment at the moment. He's still in third place and looking for a way past and maybe using the traffic here.
Paul Fix pulled away a little bit.
Ooh, he did, and he's using the traffic well, isn't he? Look, he's got Stephen Davidson gets out of the way, the TA4 contender, but he's gapped them a little bit now. Over the hill. Had a little bit of rain yesterday. It didn't affect the running in this championship. Perfect conditions today, though, here in Mid-Ohio. Good crowd, as always. They love their racing here.
Mid-Ohio always brings a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, and only a week on after Pittsburgh, we had a good crowd there, and I think a lot of them were enthused by that and said, hey, you know what, I might just head down to Mid-Ohio next week, and here they are. And, of course, Road America. And into the pits comes Ernie Francis Jr. What on earth is going on there?
Interesting.
That's more than interesting. That's championship winning or losing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he dropped back from Paul Fix quite. He might have something going on with the car, or
Let's keep
might
an
have
eye
felt
on
a
that.
flat.
But that has just played into Lawrence Loshak's hands. And what they're trying to clear something from the front of it. They've got him out, but that is a massive, massive loss for Francis Jr. Now, do you think he's got some debris in the radiator and he was starting to overheat?
Yeah, that might have been it. The crew guys just went.
You
could see all the
parts of it
grass.
now,
Yeah.
So Dreesy's back on. Wow, we've got some drama in our first energy race here, the first one of the day, and plenty to talk about. Out goes the 98, the frameless shower doors of the man from Florida, the championship leader and four-time one of the most successful Trans Am drivers in the history of this sport. And now he's got it all to do. He's going to hope for a caution now, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's so frustrating when you got a good car and you get something on it. There's literally nothing you can do. You either stay out and overheat and blow the motor up, or you got to come in. I mean, that's I feel for him on that one.
Now, look at the gap between Paul Fix, the leader, and this man, the number 2, Lawrence Loshak. There's about 4 car lengths as they come past our commentary position again. But Loshak knows that Francis has gone into the pits, and he also knows, because he can see, there's no one between himself and the leader. So Loshak's got some thinking to do. His last lap at 123.9. Just 3/10 slower. And now you can see the debris in Fix's car too. So I've got a feeling that both of them have been on the grass too often. Francis was taking a lot of grass out of the exit of turn 2. And it may be that Fix has got the same problem, because if you look at the front of Fix's car, he's got grass in there. They've been grass cutting here. And it may just be that Fix's car could overheat. If that's the case, what happened with Ernie Francis Jr.
That might have been on Ernie's crew's part, just a big precautionary also.
But a big risk.
Yeah, but he's one of the best drivers in the TA class. So, it might be one of those things where come in, let's sacrifice here, but, we'll get him, later on down the road. But all 3 of those front runners have grass.
Yeah, and to be fair, like you say, that's good cool heads, because they started today with 159 points. And when they look, Paul Fix, look at the debris, look at the grass in Paul Fix's radiator. And they started the day on 159 to Loshak's 117. So I think, you've got to consider that Paul Fix really isn't the problem, if you will.
That'll be something to look at, because if Paul Fix and Loshak, if they have all that grass on their grill and they blow a motor, they're in a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season. So
that's a very good point.
It might have been a really good move for Ernie to come in, thinking, well, if they all have grass on their grill, then they all got to come in eventually.
And the way you look at it, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you tell me, there's nothing you can do as a driver to get rid of that stuff. I mean, do it a double braking situation isn't going to get that grass out of the front, is it?
Right. You watch the Cup guys, they can get up under someone in the air if they have a piece of trash on the and then use the air. The only way I could see that ever happening is on the backstretch, and I don't think anybody's close enough to do that.
So we're keeping a watchful eye on the Mustang of Paul Fix. Grass embedded in it at the front, and that situation has been one that has brought the championship leader Ernie Francis Jr. into the pits. Francis Jr. is back out, Dreesy is continuing. He's now down in 10th position ahead of Greg. Ruman is out. Dyson was out on the first lap.
Loshak's in.
And now Loshak comes in. Wow. There are no scheduled pit stops in this race. And now Fix is on his own. And why is Loshak coming in? Same reason?
Same reason.
Now, presumably, you have an indicator to tell you the temperature of the car, so he knows it's going up.
Right.
They've done exactly the same thing. So you're absolutely right. I think this is a really smart move by both of these two, because Paul Fix is going to be in trouble eventually if the other two competitors are under pressure and feel like they have to come in. Surely Paul Fix is going to be in the same situation. Pitaric is right behind him now, and parking it up is the number 70 BMW of Joe Koenig. And the number 7. That's David Rishi.
Awfully slow there. That's a pretty fast part of the track.
Now that could bring out a caution if he parks it there.
Yeah, and maybe what Loshak and Ernie Francis are thinking, okay, there's got to be a caution. We'll get, hoping for a caution. We'll get bumped back up to each other.
I got a feeling that will bring out the caution, bring out the safety car, because he is parked, but he's right next to the barrier there.
Yeah, that's not a good spot to be in.
Not a good spot. Fix continues at the front. But it's starting to get really interesting in this one. No question about it.
That's a lot of grass.
You can see the damage to the front of the car. You can also see the grass embedded on there. And there's plenty of it as he comes out of the keyhole.
And there might be a hole in that hood. So he might be okay.
Maybe, yeah, he's getting some extra airflow. Well, Koenig's going nowhere in that lovely painted BMW.
So Loshak still sitting third.
Yep.
Caution comes out. That's really gonna. And Ernie Francis is second. So
wise head.
Ernie made up a lot of time.
And here is the number 59. And that, of course, is Pitaric. Fascinating race, and Paul Fix doing a really good job so far. He's out for the victory, but the question remains, how is he staying out there when his opponents have probably got less grass when they came in than he is carrying at the moment? But it doesn't seem to be affecting him. Green flag waves, so they're not worried about that car. Through goes Bowden on Dreesy, or does he? No. Out of the keyhole they come.
And I think Ernie's got quite a bit of lead. Yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of lead between him and Loshak. So Loshak and Ernie want a caution pretty bad.
59, excuse me, was Simon Gregg, who was being passed there. There's Tommy Dreesy. But Tarek is currently in the 57, is in 4th position, the man from Canfield, Ohio. So we've got a lot of local hope here. Sadly, Amy Ruman, who had something in the region of 50 guests here this weekend. And here is Alini Cipriani coming up on the BMW. And this is a battle for position in TA3. The Ginetta versus the BMW. What do you think?
The way it's looking right now is going to be the Ginetta.
Yeah, she's tucked up right behind him. She got a 2nd place behind Cindy Lux last weekend. That put her in the championship lead, so every point counts here for Alini and the Brazilian from Sao Paulo.
Full course.
And it has become a full course. Now that changes everything. Now does this help?
Yes.
I was about to say, does this help Fix?
It could. Under a lower speed, some of that grass could come off. But
will the car cool down? Look, he's trying. He's
trying. But it's good for Loshak and Ernie.
Yeah, of course. So we are under caution. 26 of the 45 done in our first energy TA3, TA4 battle. an enormous amount of... You can start Wimbledon with that much grass.
Yeah.
On the front of Paul Fix's car.
So that's the question now, you know, and only Fix and his crew know how high that motor temperature is getting up to. So
it's pretty amazing that he's gone as far as he has.
Yeah, and that...
Now, will it cool down when you're going slower like this? I mean, obviously the engine's not working as hard, so you'd presume so, but probably not much.
Not with all that grass on there.
Yeah. And he's not getting any airflow now because he's behind a pace car. Right, I knew this would be the case. They're going to have to get that out of the way, and that's why safety car is out. Dave Rishi from West Palm Beach.
Or they could call Paul Fix in.
Well, now's the time to do it, surely.
During the caution, and just hope that he's fast enough to get back up.
Well, and also, given that we were under race conditions when the other two came in, surely he's got the advantage by coming in now.
Yeah, because, you know, he can be right up there with the pack, and as long as he, you know, is smart about it, he can get right back up. That's the gamble. Or you gamble and stay out.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem... I mean, his lap times haven't suffered. He hasn't looked... There hasn't been a sort of look of panic on the pit wall. It's a fascinating race, and it's far from over. And Ernie Francis Jr., Loshak, is got a car between him. That's Mark Bowden. Tarek is just behind them. Then Boris said, don't count him out just yet, folks. Boris will be licking his chops right now, going, this race isn't just over at the moment. In TA3, the battle on between Bowden, Herb, Radisic, Cipriani, Grant, and as you can see, Rishi getting towed away here. Dexter still leading in TA4. Naparilaski in second place, then Stephen Davison in third. Pintaric's also in this. Watch out for both Pintaric and Boris Said at the restart. Let's see what they can do. So who gets to ride with who gets the passenger ride with the safety car?
Usually a Trans Am official.
Okay. Oh.
So,
I mean, you know, it'd be nice. You could take a police officer or somebody, you know.
That would be, you know,
for a ride.
Get in good with the officers here in Ohio. That would be nice.
Yeah. Maybe that's an idea.
I think next year that should be, you know, we should reach out to...
We should reach out to the local constabulary.
Yep. Give some pace car rides for sure.
Sure. Performance driving. So, we are under caution here. The Janettas are line astern. There is the all-green Davison car. Don't think it'll be long before we're under racing again. But it is Paul Fix, Ernie Francis Jr. and Lawrence Loshak all going for victory here. They are ahead of David Pintaric. Then Boris Said coming in. The Camaro. Try and all line them up now. This is the confusing part, of
so
course.
You just saw the officials hand out the window, so they will do pass-bys and get some of those slower cars back around. And it looks...
Fix isn't coming in, is he? And they've got the BMW away too. That's good news. And that's Joe Koenig. Qualified well, did Joe. Done season this year, coming in for Mid-Ohio. And a couple of BMWs out there. There's another one of them.
And they're running pretty well. I think that Marco Radisic is top 3, I believe.
And there's Mark Bowden, who...
is that... Who came in? Paul Fix did come in.
So Fix is in.
Fix is in.
Now, can they get it fixed? We wonder. Right, he's right in front of our commentary position. They may be changing a tyre. And they are changing a right front tyre.
Interesting.
That's interesting. And they have cleaned the front of it, but it doesn't seem they're too worried about that. They're more concerned about changing the tyre, but they've got him away. And and he stalled it. So Fix stalls it. Now they got him going. No, still trying to fire it up. They've certainly got the grass out the way, and he's away. Away they go then. And now he needs to catch up with his pack of TA cars. There's Loshak.
And there's Ernie. So now the
First
way
and
he
second.
saved his tires in qualifying might really help him here.
He really can now attack.
He's got to get
Yeah.
a really good restart because you know, if I'm sitting in Ernie's car, I'm like, I gotta go. I'm gonna get around Simon as fast as I can.
What do you make of that?
Yeah.
Looks like very healthy, does it?
Little contact somewhere.
Yeah, it's bent. There's a bent rim for sure, and that didn't happen when they took it off. Now, here's an interesting factette for you. We saw the rolling start down the back straight. There's the start line, effectively, but we won't restart there.
No, it'll be a single file start at the start-finish line.
Which means that you're diving into turn 1 very quickly.
Yes, and I wouldn't put it past Ernie to make a move as soon as he can. Or Ernie to put a move on Simon as soon as he can to get away from Loshak. That's what I would do. I'd be, you know, got to get around and just go.
So why have they kept Simon Gregg at the front of the field?
That's Trans Am rule. They start single file as is.
But they push the TA4 through just to keep them out of the way, maybe.
They do. I'll have to get a clarification.
I'm going to say, yeah, we're a little confused, but
yeah.
That's all right. Here we go. The pace car comes off. Away they go. Simon Gregg leads this field. Ernie Francis Jr. got a great start. Loshak got pressure. Now, didn't get away as well. He's got past Bowden now, and he's up to 3rd place. Down towards the keyhole they come. 29 of the 45 have been done here. And already Francis Jr. is past going into the keyhole. Loshak's got to do some catching up. Where, we wonder, is Paul Fix?
That was a good move on Bowden's part to know that Loshak is behind him, and all he had to do is just give a breathe at the throttle, and Loshak is gone. So that was a good move on his part, I think.
So Loshak, and here comes Boris Said. Nicely done on Pintaric. So the mighty Boris is on the way. Now, can he get onto level terms? It would be great to see.
And you see how hard it is to pass there. I mean,
yeah,
Loshak is way faster than Simon, but there's nowhere to get around him.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like I said, if you get into turn 4 and you haven't done an overtake, I saw a mighty overtake by Joseph Newgarden here a few weeks ago, but that was in an Indy car. A little bit more depth.
Yeah. And that's frustrating. If I was in Loshak's car right now,
he's getting by. Look,
yeah.
And sure enough, Simon getting out of the way pretty much as they come into the carousel, past the start-finish line. Oh, another turnaround, this time the number 33. That, of course, Stephen Davison, TA4, and he has a puncture, a left rear puncture. So that's going to be hard to clear away, and he's on the track. So, again, we could be under caution if we're not careful. Loshak's got past Gregg. He's now going in pursuit of Ernie Francis Jr. as they exit the keyhole here at Mid-Ohio. Francis Jr. Oh, that's going nowhere, and it's... I don't think he can get it. Oh, he's got it under power, and he's just going to crawl his way off the track, but he's on the rim there.
And that's tough. I mean, what do? You'd sacrifice your car and not give the leaders a caution, ruin someone else's race, or sit there and you don't want to tear up your car if you got a flat tire.
Well, and of course, I was talking to Stephen last night. He is driving an Aston Martin, so yeah, he doesn't want to damage his car because I think he's borrowing it, renting it, whatever you want, so he doesn't want to put any damage to it. But as you can see, as they all file by, yellow flags. It's a local yellow, not a full course yellow yet. So Loshak's still in pursuit of Ernie Francis Jr.
Yeah, that's not a good spot for him to be in either, because that's a high-speed corner, and if someone pushes out, I mean, he's going to be right in the way.
And look at Boris Said, he's coming, and the Monster Energy man. What's that coming over hill? It's a monster. Loshak about 3 car lengths behind, and now he's got it under power. That's good news. Good news for Stephen.
Unless we get debris in the middle of the track.
So, Francis Jr., 122.6. He's up the pace, but so too have the rest of the field. But Francis Jr. has got his head down for sure in this stint. Here comes Boris Said into 3rd place now. Comes the Camaro. And this is going to be a good run. Now, his last lap at 1:24, his best lap at 1:23.9. So he can run at the same pace as the leaders. He's passed Simon Craig now. And how quickly can Boris said get on level terms? Wonderful to see him in Trans Am. Such an accomplished driver, you name it. Le Mans, IMSA, Cup car racing. He's done it all as Boris. And he's chosen to make Trans Am his place for 218. Did one race earlier in the year at Indianapolis.
Yeah, it was Indy.
Yep. And then has come back again. And I asked him yesterday, I said, are you coming to Road America? And he's like, he was very tentative about it. He didn't want to say too much. I think he wants to.
Yeah. I know he wants to. I wouldn't be surprised to see him there.
Yeah.
He's just not going to tell anybody.
Like I said, we've got the Hall of Famer, Bill Elliott, in action later. He's warming himself up for a crack at Xfinity next weekend. And just getting a little warm up. Now, look at the grass in Ernie Francis Jr.'s grill at the moment. He's bought some more grass for himself.
I don't think that's enough to affect.
Well, Ernie's been on the grass more than Bob Marley this weekend. And the thing is, he's doing it outside of the keyhole. Every time you watch him come through the keyhole, it goes really wide, and he literally picks up a bunch of debris. It's a great line, but they're not cutting the grass that deep anymore.
Well, now it is. They've cut it down.
Yeah, they did their own mowing. So, the Trans Am lawnmower of the number 98 of Ernie Francis Jr., leading with 159 points and on his way to another victory here. Had to do it from the back at Indianapolis. He sided his way through. This time he's had to do it with a pit stop, but Lawrence Loshak is far from done with this race, and Lawrence, I am sure, knowing that Dyson is out, will be wanting to make, and look at this, Cipriani all over the BMW. Ginetta versus BMW in TA3, and just behind is the TA4 Ginetta of Warren Dexter. This is a good battle. And like we said, the advantage for the Ginetta is not in a straight line, it's not an out-and-out grunt machine, it's the deftness in braking. We were talking to Alini, and she said that the real plus about the Ginetta is that she can brake that much later than most of the other cars. Now, the BMW might be an exception to the rule. It's probably more closely suited compared to maybe the Camaros and the Mustangs, but doing a good job. And it's an important race for her because Ginetta were leading both TA3 and TA4 going into this race. And we're now in the second half of the season. Bowden did not take part last weekend in Pittsburgh and dropped from first to third, which allowed Alini, who was second, to take the championship lead. She was penalised after qualifying. Even though she had a front row start, she crashed into Stephen Davison, and they both spun around, and that was deemed to be avoidable contact, and therefore she was put back. But now, definitely pushing on, and up the inside. Can't quite do it. And yeah, you see the horsepower to the advantage of the BMW. The former PWC racer. And I think enjoying his day.
Oh, he's having fun. Yeah, it looked like he pushed way out there.
Onto the main straight again. They've got Davison in front of them, in fact. Oh, and another spinner. This time the number 81. And that's Jordan Bupp. Bupp, of course, who won last time out in Indianapolis, but he didn't realise he'd won until right at the end. There was so much confusion. A lot of attrition in that one.
Very interesting.
So there's Francis Jr. Whoa! And Loshak gets it sideways. We got all his GoShare sponsors to look at then. And here's another look at Bochum, and there's the spin from Jordan Bupp. Yeah, just overcooked it, really.
And got lucky.
Yes, he did.
Got very lucky.
Yeah, it's a short shift from first to second, they were telling me, and it's easy to get the back end out there under power coming out of the carousel. 35 or 40, 10 to go then. There's your leader. And there's second place. It's a good battle this between Loshak. Boris said now 10 seconds adrift in third place. Bob, who just spun, is still in the running. And there you see Francis going wide again. He's done all the hard work. He's got rid of the grass. It's all on his radiator. And the grill, not too badly affected this time. They've been in once to clear it. Now, will Loshak's tyres come into play here?
Well, it's getting down to it.
Yep.
10 laps to go.
We're getting that way. And there you see it. I don't think that's going to hurt him at all. It's just a little bit. Meanwhile,
these two guys.
Yeah, really going for it. I'm trying to remember. We spoke to him this morning, the number 22.
Marco.
Yeah, where's he
Radisic.
from? And that's Dreesy's going
Yep,
slowly.
Dreesy's very slow.
Yeah, Marco Radisic. He, his license is out of Florida, but with a name like that, he's got the M4 GT4 car.
So we got
driving. It's all sorts. Dreesy's parked it.
This might be a full course.
That's interesting. Teammate to Loshak parks it.
I'm staying away from that one.
So then, Tommy
yeah.
Dreesy, the West champion, or the Western Championship winner, last time out at Portland, has parked it.
He, to his credit, he is offline.
Yes.
So,
no, I don't. I'm being facetious. I don't see anything untoward. He'd have to be a mind reader to work that one out. So then, Tommy is out. Through goes his teammate Loshak. He'll now see that Tommy's out. Francis Jr. leads this race. And Francis Jr. is up the pace. He just did a 1:22.009. So, with 10 to go, he has got the hurry up in the frameless doors. Number 98, the Ford Mustang of Ernie Francis Jr. Loshak is still second, and the gap between them is 2.9 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that. Third place is Boris Said in the Dodge Challenger, the Monster Energy Dodge Challenger, but he's got quite a gap to try and catch up to these two. Traffic could be a factor with line laps to go, because obviously you've got three distinct different races between them all, and they're all battling for position and for championship points. In TA3, Cipriani trying to hold on to her championship lead. It all depends where Mark Bowden finishes. There she is. She's still in that back battle.
So they did put the safety truck out to maybe pull him out of the way. Still no
the race
caution.
continues. Yeah, you can see on your graphic there, the green square next to the 9 laps to go tells you that we are still under green, and they're passing that position at full speed. So it's deemed. Oh no, Davison's out again. That's the number 33.
This might force their hand to have two cars out at the same time. You know, they may go ahead and throw the full course, which is what Loshak wants.
Yeah, Loshak would love that. 8 to go now. They pass our commentary position, dive into turn 1. The gap is just under 3 seconds. But will a caution change the pace of this race?
I think
Cipriani still fourth, looking for a podium in TA3 if she can get past the BMW. Marco Radisic of Sarasota, Florida. She's been hounding him for much of this race. There's David Patarik. He's had a quiet race in terms of keeping an eye on him, really. He's been there or thereabouts, though, to be fair. And he's currently in 4th position in the Cadillac. We haven't mentioned much about the Cadillac. How is that car compared to some of the other cars that we're used to seeing? Because there isn't too many Cadillacs out there.
Tell you what, it looks good.
It does look good.
It looks good. Unfortunately, neither of the Cadillacs this year have had a lot of luck compared to the Camaros, but, you know, Kerry Hitt and Pantaric talking to them, they're committed to making this Cadillac get up on that top step of the podium. And Loshak just ran 3/10 quicker than Ernie.
Yeah, that was a really good 1:21.7. So Loshak has decided with 7 to go that if he's going to pull the pin, it's time to do it now. And if he's going to catch Ernie Francis Jr. And look at Cipriani. She's still putting the hammer down, looking for a podium out of this. This is the battle for 3rd place in TA3. Radisix coming into the championship from PwC. Cipriani coming from Barra in Florida. And her first season as well. She's still relatively new to this, but really enjoying it. She's a bundle of fun. Her and her husband run the team, and it's been a really good run for them so far. And great, because she's also the USA dealership for the British mark that is Ginetta, the tiny company in Leeds in Yorkshire. And they put on a good show so far. So here's the leader, Francis Jr. There's Loshak, not far behind. As you rightly pointed out, Loshak just put in his quickest lap, and that's brought the gap down between the pair of them with 7 to go. Traffic could be a factor, but Loshak is ready to pounce. Where's Boris Said? Well, he's not close enough yet. Boris Said still some 17 seconds off the leader, number 98. But there's the traffic. Dexter in front of the leader. And there's quite a lot of lap traffic to come now. He's passed the TA4, but now he doesn't want to get embroiled with this TA3 battle because they're not going to be giving an inch. Cipriani losing time there on the BMW. Oh, and Francis jinks out there. And Cipriani, if she wasn't aware, she will be now. And here comes Loshak. He wants by and he gets by. But he goes wide. Loshak, no, no, no. Oh, Lawrence. And, well, he just put the key into the keyhole, and that could be the end of the race because it's just unlocked the door for Ernie Francis Jr. But that was all because he wanted by Cipriani, went too hot into the entry of keyhole and ran out of road, quite simply. Here we go.
He got impatient, and yeah. And you can tell he is not happy because he never lipped.
Well, I mentioned that Boris Said was some 17 seconds behind. Well, he won't be less than that now. He'll be a lot less than that. So where is Boris on track, we wonder? Loshak has recovered, but he'll be stamping his feet, banging the cockpit, and just be mad as all hell about that incident because there's always lap traffic. You've got to be patient, and he wasn't.
Yeah, and I think it looks to me like he saw Francis making those moves, and he was like, well, I got to do it now or else I'm going to lose him with 7 to go.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's not going to be a fun interview.
5 to go, and you have to say Francis Jr., a master of pouncing. He did it at Pittsburgh on Dyson. He rode Dyson all the way to the last lap and then literally took to the grass yet again. He likes the grass. To take over Dyson and take 2nd place in that race. And he's just done a brilliant maneuver past Alini Cipriani, who, to be fair to her, was in her own battle for a podium in TA3, so no harm, no foul there. But Loshak choosing his moment and just getting too hot into the keyhole and losing major time. And the gap between Boris Said and Lawrence Loshak, 5 seconds now with 5 laps to go. Hopefully Boris will get the board and say, come on, boy, let's have this.
And that's awesome for Boris and that Weebo Racing Concepts team. This is only their second, it looks like.
Second run, yeah.
So, you know, you got to realize they're still learning a lot about this brand new race car. So to come out on their 2nd run and to grab 2nd place, that's an awesome feeling.
That was Kerry Height in the number 19, the man from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Just going out, and look at Ernie just siding his way through the traffic. Nicely done. And as we've said so many times in 2018 and in previous seasons, on goes the magnificent Ernie Francis Jr., the boy wonder of Trans Am.
You know
got the world at his feet. He's been doing some K&N racing, and he may well, I don't know what his next move is, but the world's at his feet, isn't it?
It is, and I misspoke. Lawrence Loshak did not lose a spot.
Did not lose a spot.
No, he
did not lose a spot, but the 17-second gap has come down to 5 to Boris.
Yeah, I thought he had lost that spot to Boris.
No, the gap was big enough. It was 17 seconds. He lost 10 in the spin, and here's the third place man in the Monster Energy Camaro.
And he got lucky.
He got very lucky,
very lucky.
Especially when a man of the talent of Boris Said is chasing you and senses the opportunity to be right up there with a second place after disappointment in Indianapolis himself. Like you say, just his second run here in Trans Am for the mighty Boris Said. Great character to be around. He's got plenty of debris in his
yeah, 3 to go. He's not coming in.
Nah, he's not going anywhere. Yeah, 22 seconds the gap between the leader and Boris Said. It's less than that between second and third, but I don't think Boris is going to make the impact unless Loshak has another moment. But I think that moment has put it all to bed. And look at the gap, 16 seconds now. Francis Jr. leads, and this is going to be the pony dancing his way through the beautiful countryside of mid-Ohio to extend his lead in TA. He'll be back in action in about 2 hours' time because he's also taking part in TA2. Now, that does seem unusual, but he tried it out at Detroit to great effect and got on the podium there. Hasn't been as successful in qualifying, I may add. Here comes Lawrence Loshak, just trying to tiptoe his way through the traffic as well. But it could be a busy weekend for, well, it will be a busy weekend for Ernie Francis Jr. because he'll be back out with TA2 in about an hour's time, up against the mighty Bill Elliott, who is his teammate, interestingly enough.
That's a pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool teammate to have.
Yeah. One thing you got to with Loshak though, yeah, he messed up. He's still going to finish second. And so at the end of the day, I think it'll be hard for him to get over that because he was catching Ernie. But you got to say, okay, for the big picture, I did finish second, gave it all I had. He should be pretty pleased with it. Well, but he won't be.
Yeah, but even bigger picture for Loshak sponsors like GoShare and Pennzoil, you know, it's been such a disappointing first half of the season. He's now put himself in a position to be the biggest contender up against, with Dyson going out today, he's now put himself in a contention to be the runner-up in this championship, if not be the man that stops Ernie Francis from running away with it. And he's still got time. There's plenty of rounds to go. We got Road America coming up. And, of course, the end of the season, we've got VIR, we've got COTA and Daytona. So there's a long way to go and a lot of racing to come yet.
Yeah, if I was him and I got going again after that spin, all I'd be repeating to myself is big picture.
Big picture, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that when you're in the heat of the moment, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
I say I do that, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's easy talking about it in the commentary room.
It really is.
So then, we're coming down to the closing last 2 laps of our first energy-sponsored TA3 and TA4, and Alini Cipriani is back on it again, and she's all over the BMW of the number 22. And this has been a good battle. 24, in fact, excuse me, it's Marko Radicic that she's up against. Out goes the 81. Kenny Bupp is out. Well, the Bupp's about a day. Jordan spinning around, and Dad Senior also coming to a halt, but he's got going again. And that's a precarious climb to get going, but he's done it. And we're on the final lap now. Here comes Ernie Francis Jr. 1 more lap to go. Just needs to stay out of trouble as he goes down the kink that is turn 3. Down through the gearbox into second gear now. There's Boris Said, third place at the moment for him. And as you can see, 25 seconds off the lead. And Tarek is in 4th position. Vix has recovered. Bochum, Ike we just saw go off. We also saw Bupp. And Dreesy's out. McManus, Ruman and Dyson all out of this race. It's been a war of attrition, and it's been an interesting one. Grass was a factor because the leaders had to come in and clear their grills of grass, heating up the cars. And it could have been a major factor for Francis Jr., but they were the first to react. And they did it well. We all were a bit surprised when Francis Jr. came in, but it's turned out to be a brilliant maneuver because here he is in the frameless showers, number 98 to take the checkered flag. Brilliantly done. The championship leader and the champion of Trans Am TA takes another win, this time at Mid-Ohio, after back-to-back wins now at Indianapolis and here in Mid-Ohio. Well done to Ernie Francis Jr. Well, his team can be well pleased tonight. And here comes Paul Fix trying to make a good run of it after leading this race. Starting on the front row, he's all over David Pentarek. This is 4 points. Boris Said comes across the line after Loshak in third. And it looks as though Pentarek is going to hold on to that 4th place with Fix fifth. And that is the case. So we can confirm Ernie Francis Jr., Lawrence Loshak, we didn't see cross the line, but he did in 2nd place. Boris Said in 3rd. David Pentarek in 4th place in that almighty battle there with Paul Fix right at the end. Fix taking 5th place. John Bokum recovering well. He had brake failure last time out of Pittsburgh, but he has got a good 6th place. Kerry Height 7th. Kenny Buff in 8th, who just had that spin. And Mark Bowden in 9th position, but the leader in TA3. And it looks as though Bowden wins in TA3 with Tom Herb 2nd, Radishik holding off Alini Cipriani for 3rd position, and Warren Dexter winning in TA4. So, what a start to the day. Early morning fog here, and that was blown away quickly with the start of this race here in Mid-Ohio. The TA, TA3 and TA4 action brought to you by First Energy